Welcome back, friends, to Max Q Barbecue, my Cybertruck journey. In today's video, we are going to install the Hansshow sidestep running board. So stick around and learn the 10 easy, simple steps to installing the Hansshow sidestep running boards. Step one is gathering the essential tools that you might need. Now, keep in mind that Hansshow packages all the wrenches and tools that you would need to actually install the running boards, but there are a couple of tools that might speed up the process and make it easier for you. First one is if you happen to have a impact driver, like a 1/4-inch impact driver, that can be a very handy tool for tightening the bolts and putting the nuts on and doing that and speeding up that whole process. If you got an impact driver, then you'll need some kind of an adapter, 1/4-inch shank that will adapt to a socket that will attach to the bolts or to the nuts that are on there. The next thing you're going to need is that socket set. And in my case, I had to pull out a 13mm socket and a 9mm socket. And then I just placed those sockets onto the shank, put them onto the driver, and there you go. Nice and quick, putting those nuts and bolts onto your Cybertruck. The next thing, last thing, and extra tools you might need is you're working underneath the truck, and it's dark under there, even out in the broad sunlight. So you might want to bring along a plug-in LED light or a flashlight so it helps make finding the bolt holes easier so that you can put those bolts in and find the holes and put them in and tighten them up. The last essential tool that you would definitely want to have when you're crawling around on the ground with the Cybertruck is if you have some kind of a mat or a piece of cardboard that you can lay out on. And on this actually makes it much easier to scoot around underneath the Cybertruck and be able to put the bolts and attach the brackets. So go get you some kind of piece of cardboard, or if you have a mat of some type, lay that out on the ground and use that to protect your skin and your clothes from laying on the ground. So let's move on to step two, which is lay out all of your parts. You'll want to get your parts laid out and identified. So let's go through and identify all of the parts we need to install the running boards. Step three, raise your Cybertruck. Come in here and put it on the highest height. This makes it easier to get under it to work on putting on the running boards. Step four is lay a mat out so that you have something to lay on while you work. I just happen to have this mat that I use. It's canvas and foam rubber, but you can also use just a sheet of cardboard, just something to make it easier while you're laying on the ground. Step four is to locate your bolt holes, and they're right here next to the battery, next to the lift point here in the front. But this little hole here is where the bracket will go into. Okay, looking ahead, you can see there's a couple of more indentions, but there's really two, this one and this one, which I believe are the ones that we need to use to line up the running boards. Step six is to install the bracket, and these new style brackets install very neatly. This one is the right four being the front, and it goes with the hook up. The hook hooks over the back of the battery here. Bolt goes up through this hole, and then we will use our feel to get the bolt started. And you can screw it in with your hand, or you can use the supplied wrench. But if you happen to own an impact driver, You can just take an impact driver and slide that in. Now I'm pulling the bracket towards the outside, so I'm placing it as tight against that lip as I possibly can. And there we go. On this particular bracket, I started the larger M8 bolt first before going to the M6. That way it was kind of holding the bracket up, so I didn't have to hold the bracket up and try to start the screw at the same time. Just made it a little easier, get it started. All right, the next step is to place the running board just sitting on the brackets. It's not attached down yet, but we're going to go ahead and put in the little brackets here that actually hold the running board. This holds the running board to the truck. So we're going to get this installed and put the nuts on them. We've got the little angle bracket installed behind here, and with our bolts protruding through, now we're just going to put the lock washers and nuts on it, and not tighten them yet because we want to adjust the running board so it's proportional and lined up with the truck like we want it. So the sequence here is going to be the flat washer, the split washer, and the nut. So we're going to put a hand up here just to hold that bracket down. And then I'm going to change hands here so that I can put the nut on. And there you go. I got the nut, the split washer, and then the flat washer. And I'm going to leave these loose because we're going to want to adjust the position of the running board before we tighten them down. As you can see, we've adjusted the running board. We've centered it on the B pillar here, so it extends into the flare portion of the fender there and into the flare portion of the fender here as well. And once we're happy with the alignment and we're checking the distance between the logos and the bed, get that even all the way down, we're going to go ahead and start tightening up the bolts. We're happy with the position of the running board, and now we're going to snug up the bolts. Simple process with the impact ring. We're going to go all the way down the truck, tightening up the bolts. In step 9, we adjusted the running boards to the truck so that they lined up and had an even gap along the top. And step 10, we tightened up the bolts, and then we used the wrench supplied by Hansshow just to hand tighten and verify the tightness after snugging them up with the impact wrench. So there it is. It's a quick and easy process to install the running boards. They look fantastic, and not only do they look fantastic, but I just got off a 3,500 mile road trip, and they were great because I had a couple of folks that wanted rides in the Cybertruck, and they served very well to help some of my elderly friends get into the Cybertruck. Even though it's engineered to lower down the ride height, it still was nice for my mother-in-law and some other friends to be able to walk up and then put their foot on the running board and then hold on to the truck as they get in. So it makes getting into the truck very easy for someone that has a little bit of limited mobility. So be sure to, hope you enjoyed our installation video. Be sure to like and subscribe, and go out and use our affiliate link and buy your set of the Hansshow running boards.
Thanks for watching.